All right, people. So after Joseph Kosinski and Miles Teller killed it in Top Gun Maverick, right? You kind of feel compelled to check out, the future collaborations. Can the magic continue? So, people, right? This week, Spiderhead drops on Netflix. Okay, so yeah, Joseph Kosinski, he directs. It is written by Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, who they're in demand, right? These writers are very much in demand, but I don't know, man. I don't fully get it, right? Which I know it sounds like a dig, right? And it's just like, look, loads of people enjoy the stuff. So it's not like they're bad. Like I liked Zombieland, you know? But the G.I. Joe films just meh, suck. And I hate the Deadpool films just irritated me. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, it feels that a lot of the go comes from the Deadpool film, but then Six Underground, it just wasn't. I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, right? So they both wrote the film. It's based on a short story that appeared in the New Yorker by George Saunders. Right? There's Escape from Spiderhead. Okie dokie. Now, the film is produced by Agnes Chu, Tommy Harper, Chris Hemsworth, Oren Katzif, Eric Newman, Reese and Wernick, Jeremy Steckler, Geneva Wazaman. It is executive produced by Sarah Bowen, associate produced by Emily Chong, and line produced by Georgina Marquis and Brian Iaconelli. The music was handled by Joseph Trapanese. Cinematography is Claudio Miranda. It is edited by Stephen Mirion. Casting was Kirsty McGregor and Stevie Ray. Production design, Jeremy Hindle. Art direction, Bill Booth and A. Todd Holland. With set decoration from Nancy McEveny and costume design, Amelia Gebler. So our cast. Well, we have got Chris Hemsworth as Steve Abnesti. We have Miles Teller as Jeff. Jurnee Smollett as Lizzy. We have got um hmm yeah, I mean we've got Mark Pagui as Mark Verlaine, right? He works with Steve. We've got Sam Delsh as Adam, Joey Vieira as Miguel, Daniel Reeder as Ryan, Ron Schmuck as Dave, Stephen Tongan as Ray, Nathan Jones as Rogan, BB Bettercount as Emma, Angie Milliken as Sarah, Tess Horbridge as Heather, and Ben Knight as Clyde. So, yeah, That's cast. Now, the gist of the flick is this, right? It's set in the near future when convicts are offered the chance to volunteer as medical subjects in hope of shortening their sentences. When one prisoner finds himself to test a patient for a new pharmaceutical capable of generating feelings of love, he begins questioning the reality of his emotions and sets out to discover the truth, which is not right. That is not what happens at all. It's insane. I don't know why it surprises me so much that these synopsises are so full of shit, right? The big thing was, it wasn't he's like, oh, something's amiss. No, it was just the fact that they kept on saying, oh, do you love this person? Do you love this person? And he's like, no. And he was in love with someone else. And he he recalled how the drug made him feel, right? And he's like, no, that drug made me feel so shit, I don't want to put that on anyone else. That was the kind of thing that led him to. And then it's not like he dove deep, right? He just found some keys. And I think one of the big things with this film for me was a lot of the reveals came real kind of fucking easy, right? It's just like find some keys, open drawers, and then suddenly, oh, I'm deciphering all of this information. I'm drawing these conclusions just from some stuff I've looked at, right? It's just like, oh, I've seen these numbers. Oh, now obviously that must mean this, this, and this. Where it's just like, it's not completely obvious, right? Like it doesn't necessarily mean all of those things, but straight away it's just like, oh, that must mean that, which is a little insane, right? But I see some people talking about this film, right, and going, we thought it was going to be this and we thought it was going to be that. I'm just like, listen, right? When we look at the films similar to this, that deal with trials and drugs and, like a Dr. Moreau type of Island of Dr. Moreau kind of thing, they all kind of follow a similar formula, right? You often don't get that intricate nuance in the film, right? Where they're really playing with the gray areas in life, right? What is the difference between good and evil? You know what I mean? Like, these sort of films don't necessarily do that. Like, so it is all pretty black and fucking white, right? Which is insane. So it is kind of very curious when people are like, oh, we thought it was gonna be. And we're like, but why? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I wasn't kind of expecting something crazy. I wasn't sure what to expect, to be honest with you, right? I wasn't quite sure what it was because we are kind of just thrown in. You don't really like if you were just, you know, if you knew nothing coming in. I don't know if you'd straight up know that these people were prisoners who have done horrific things. Like, yeah, it's all a bit like, what is happening? Right now, as it goes on, we get kind of flashbacks. Like Jeff is having these flashbacks of things. Now with Jeff's flashbacks, right? We see this scene over and over again, and then at the very end, the reality of the scene is revealed, and it's just a bit um, like because the scenes that we saw we like from those scenes, you would have known that last fact that is dropped at the very end. Right? There's no way of having those scenes and not having that last fact in them unless you're deliberately leaving it out. So it's like, oh, this big reveal. But then it's just like, hold on a second. If that person was, how is it we wouldn't have seen them? Because you would have seen them. You know, so it's a bit like, I mean, that's not clever. You just straight up left that person out, right? Then you have the whole phone thing, and it's just phone lines aren't kept that long, right? Unless someone is paying, that phone ain't staying. You know what I mean? Because when you think, right, someone who's gone to prison for a long ass time, right? So let's just say Jeff has been in jail for at least 5 years, but it's probably more. That phone line ain't on. It ain't on. So yeah, it's just like some of like the supposed reveals. You're just like, yeah, but that don't make any sense because phone line ain't on. Would have seen that person. So what a blow. And we do get that whole car Hollywood situation where cars blow up. Cars don't just blow up. Cars just don't blow up, man. I don't know what to say. But if we go by these films, that's what happens. Cars blow up in seconds. It's just like, yo, okay, okay. Also, if you go out a window like my man Jeff did, you ain't doing that other shit. You ain't doing that other shit. Ain't happening. It ain't happening, man. You know. um, like the acting isn't bad. Like it's okay. It's not like, oh shit, motherfuckers should win an award for that. It's not that, but it's not rubbish. I mean, it's okay. It's okay for what this story is, But yeah, the story's a bit weird, you know. We do get that thing as well in this where someone has been doing this thing for ages, and then someone can just go to them, hey, that's not right. And then suddenly they do this complete 180, right? And I can get someone going, yeah, you know what? Fuck it, I'm out. But to do the 180 that this character does and then just go the full, it's a bit yeah, it's a bit insane. It's a bit insane because you ain't good. You did this shit, right? You did this shit. No one held a gun to you. You chose to do it. Like, you might go, oh, I didn't know the full picture, but what you did see, you would know, yeah, that's still a bit fuck, Chris. You know what I mean? It's weird because, as I said, look, these people are in jail. But they do try and play the characters off like, oh, we should feel for these people. And it's a bit like, should we? Right? That's a weird thing because I think you can play people off as anti-heroes, right? They don't necessarily have to be good. So it's just the fact that they want to try and play, Jeff and Lizzy off as good people. Now, when you get, I think Lizzie's story is, I think you can more relate to that one than Jeff's, right? Because Lizzy, you're gonna be like, okay, if she's a single mom, needs to work, right? Probably pulling some crazy long shit. You could understand a lapse in memory, right? You could definitely understand that. Now, don't make it right, but you can kind of understand it. Jeff's is just, and again, look, you kind of feel okay. Well, no one sets out to do what happened, But you got behind the wheel. Like, it's not like we don't know what happens if you drink and you drive. You know what I mean? So it's just like you can't paint them as being angels, you know? So it's a little bit weird in that regard. You know, so it gets messy because I mean you're not where the film could be taking this psychological look at all of these things, right? And really kind of play that game, right? Like, yo, this is all gray. This is all crazy. Which way would you go in this situation, right? What kind of person are you? Instead of doing that, they just made it more basic, right? Just more basic, a little lazy, which then is just like, it doesn't become as compelling as it could be. You know, I think Hemsworth is very good as this shithead who's trying to be liked. You know what I mean? That's Hemsworth in this one. Be like, oh, I helped you out, remember? You know what I mean? Doing good things, but then going, remember that good thing I did for you. You know what I mean? He's a shit. But Hemsworth plays that character very well. You know? So I would say Spiderhead, like, ooh, I mean, it's a difficult one, right? Because yeah, it's not complete trash. No, definitely not. I definitely think it's not that. Um, but it's not necessarily the the thriller that it could have been. Um, it's not like Memento. Because Memento, that is definitely, these characters, and you think they're good, but they're not really good, and it plays like that. Yeah, that's not this, unfortunately, right? Um, I mean, if you like The Island of Dr. Moreau, I guess, like, yeah, this would play for you. Like, there's a few. There was this Japanese, no, I think it was Korean, film on Netflix. Came out last year, I believe. It was about drug trials, some sleep thing, right? I think if you like that, I know that's kind of not overly helpful if you don't know the name of the actual thing, right? But oh shit. Yeah, I don't know, people. Um it's average. Kind of feel it's an average thing. Like, if you have the time, you might want to dip in, right? You might want to dip in. It's about an hour and 45, right? I mean, the charm is it's on Netflix. So you can throw it on. And if you're just like, nah, ain't for me, son, you can just, you know, go to the next one, right? So yeah, I don't know. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I'm kind of indifferent. It is Spider.